Celine, you got in. How are you doing?
Good evening. I'm amazing. How are you?
Oh, amazing. I'm so glad you made it. I'm going to introduce you to the team. This is my team here. And Talene is joining us from Atlanta, Georgia today. It is 9 o'clock her time, and she
ATL in the house.
That's right.
Yes.
So
Down there.
and this is Paul Tidwell. Paul is our new partner in crime, AZ Home Loans, and there's Gladys. So what I'll do is I'm going to introduce you guys to our team here. This is our core team, Paul, that I was telling you about. Torrey Jones is my CEO now. And of course, you know myself, the founder and president, I guess I call myself that. And there's my lovely wife, Roberta, down there. She is the founder and CFO. We have Kimber, our TC manager, COA. She is the one that cracks the whip and keeps us all in line and takes care of all the TCs. You have Dawn Verdone down here, and she is our communications director. She is absolutely fabulous, let me tell you. And then we have Gladys. She's one of our new TCs, our new transaction coordinators. And she's doing a fabulous job for us as well. I guess Torrey's still having.
Oh, I'm good.
Internet. You're good? Cool.
Yep.
All right. So this is the core team here, and we hope that everybody else gets to join because there was some hiccups with the link tonight, but I believe we'll get beyond it. We're still trying to work out all the bugs in this thing they call Zoom.
Zoomland.
Talene, why don't you tell? I had to brag about you before.
Don't do that.
So Talene was one of my co-hosts. She's co-hosted our TV show. We have a TV show that we do called Positive TV Bahamas and Christian Living Radio and TV. So we go to the Stellar Awards, and this girl, she knocked them dead. She was taking care of all the folks. But she also, the biggest claim to fame is Talene has a background in the music industry, and she was one of the lead singers in Atlantic Star. Who remembers Atlantic Star?
No,
I do. Awesome. Wow. Awesome.
Nobody remembers that.
They remember you, girl. Shoot.
Nobody remembers.
Yes. Awesome.
Yes.
Hey,
It's like 10,000 years ago.
What a blessing.
But we still love the music to this day. All the old school people.
Yeah.
They don't
I love
make
it.
music like
See?
that anymore.
even Gladys got you. See?
Good music is good music. I don't care.
Ray has a question mark over his head.
I'm sure I played something of it when he was little, but he probably has blanked all that out. All right, sing us something.
Oh my goodness.
Do
Seriously?
Do the Christian Living Radio jingle you did.
Are you really serious? Y'all seriously want me to sing something?
No, you don't have
Oh my goodness. Y'all really put me on the
Absolutely
spot.
sing something.
This team, I'm telling you, is a
Bless us. Bless us.
He didn't tell you about us before you got on.
I forgot to warn her.
He did not warn me. That's not fair. Oh my goodness. I have no idea what to sing for you guys. I really don't. It's like And I
Go ahead.
so always. Ooh, 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 I will love you so always.
You have a very pretty voice.
Gracias.
What a blessing. What a blessing.
That
Uh,
is.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Oh, that was a blessing.
So good.
You know exactly what
Thank
song we
you.
were singing too.
That was only a little tiny bit, but I'm excited to hear about what you guys are doing. And you know, he's already told me quite a bit that I want to hear, because I've been interested in the industry of real estate. My mom owns several properties. I've been helping her over the years to manage, and learned a lot, you know, by default. But I'm really thinking, you know, about really diving into the business. And the crazy thing is, you know, you don't even know this. I was praying about a month ago, and I was asking God, should I do real estate? And I said, well, God, if you really want me to do this, it has to be somebody that I know that can show me the ropes, that can really help me in the industry. And then you reached out to me. And so I was like, oh,
Wow.
Lord, are you serious?
That's awesome.
So here I am. And so, you know, with that, my husband and I have a ministry here in Atlanta. We pastor a church. And so between church and being a wife and a mother and a serial business entrepreneur, music, and all these other wonderful things that God has gifted me and blessed me to be able to do. I have a graphics and branding company that I've had since 2009. And so I have a background in marketing and graphics and branding as well. So that's just a little bit about me.
which we're going to put to use. Don't worry.
you're feeling great.
With the marketing and branding thing,
Yeah.
you need that. And no matter what your business is, I always tell my clients, you know, your brand is so important, and how you present it, and the way that you you know, communicate, and who you're communicating to, knowing your target market, your audience, and all of those things have a great deal to do with how you market your business. And so, yeah, I know a little bit about that too.
Well, I'm so glad you joined us. We should be having others joining, but they might have issues. And I'll take the blame for that, being the leader. I got to have the big shoulders, you know. So I'll take the fault for that one. But
I didn't have a problem at all getting on. I mean,
we'll see. Then the rest of them shouldn't.
Once I came on at the right time, look, I was an hour early at first.
She was texting me at 5 o'clock, and I'm like, no, it's not there yet.
And the time difference, I was an hour. I thought it was 2 hours instead of 3. So
no problem. You're here now. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Amen.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate being here. It's nice to meet everybody.
Nice to meet you too.
As well.
So, and the rest of the team, I told you about my Tuesday meeting with Paul. I bragged about this gentleman. we had a good time. We went extra long and just got to know each other on a different level, not just business, but I can say that you know, this is going to be a long-term friendship as well. It was really comfortable and almost like we knew each other for years. So I'm gonna let Paul introduce himself and tell us a little bit about what he's doing, and tell us about his company and our new partnership. I'm excited. I'm so excited, guys. You're gonna love this dude.
All right.
There you go. Now we can hear you.
I'm running from my phone or doing the Zoom through my phone because I couldn't get it to come up on my MacBook for some reason. I'll get that figured out next time. Kenyatta, thank you so much for just that short introduction. You know, I can't overemphasize just what a great feeling I came away with on Tuesday when we met. And just for you folks, I don't know how much time I have. I don't like to talk a lot about myself, but I think it's important here just to let you know a little bit about my background. Kenyatta and I are the same age. Let me just put that out there. So you probably all know how old he is. He looks a lot younger than me, and he's a lot better looking. In fact, I told him he looked like
I don't know about that. I think he's.
Anyways, I myself have been an entrepreneur throughout my career. I've spent most of my adult life self-employed as an entrepreneur in the health and wellness space. Now, I do have a network marketing background. I ran into a gentleman by the name of Gary Young when I was in my 20s at my nutrition store in Utah. And for those of you that may be a little bit familiar with essential oils, Gary was the founder of Young Living Essential Oils. And from that company spawned another company called doTERRA. Now, I don't want to talk a lot about them. The only reason why I bring that up is because I have 7 years worth of network marketing experience as a corporate trainer. I spent 12 years in the Army National Guard, 6 years in the NCO ranks as an enlisted person, and 6 years as an officer. So I've got a little bit of experience as far as leadership is concerned. And I've spent about 25 years in the health and wellness industry, either owning my own nutrition stores or working for large corporations, helping them scale their business and getting them into companies like Vitamin Shop, Whole Foods, GNC, military channels, so on and so forth. I turned my book of business over a few years ago to my wife, who happens to share this office space behind me here, and was looking for something else to do. I've purchased many homes. Being a veteran, I've used my VA loan to take advantage of the homes that I have purchased, and I won't get into that. So I do have a little bit of experience there, but honestly, I didn't have a lot of experience in the real estate / lending industry up until about 3 months ago. And it just happened. I don't believe in circumstance. I think there's a reason, there's a time and a place for everything. And I was introduced to Arizona home loans by a neighbor of mine that actually was recruiting my wife. And she didn't need more work, she needed less work. So my ears perked up as I began to speak with this neighbor and started to press her a little bit more about this company. There were some things that were really, really important to me that I've always held true to my heart throughout my life. And it's a certain, just certain core values that I live by. And one of the first ones is just putting people first. I have always been in a service oriented business in the service of other people. And although money is very, very important, and this is kind of cliche in the network marketing industry, if you'll focus on people, the money is like the tail of the cat, it follows you. I've always lived my professional life by that model. Obviously, money as an entrepreneur is important because you have to keep the lights on and there's overhead to take care of. However, without people, you don't have a business. And so as I started to lean into this person and discover the core values of the company that I now work for, I've been working for them for about 3 months. My role is business relationship, developing relationships with realtors and with clients, and letting them know what we do that's a little bit different than what other companies do. And I really feel like these core values set us apart. I'm just going to read those off. Communication. There's a term out there that just listen first, speak last. Take the cotton out of your ears and put it in your mouth. Just listen to people, and just really focus on what their needs, wants, desires, and goals are. I don't care what channel of business you're in. That's kind of the bottom line. Ownership. Assume all responsibility for the customer experience. I wear a shirt to the gym almost every day that says, everything is my fault. a lot of people laugh at me and say, "Hey, your wife makes you wear that shirt," but they really don't understand what the shirt really means or what that quote means. I take responsibility for all the good and bad that happens to me. At the end of the day, I own it. So when I saw ownership was one of the core values of this company, that really resonated with me. Values: provide the best rates and no lender fees. I paid a lot of fees, and there are fees that are associated with VA loans, obviously, but traditional junk fees, our company does not charge those. We take off margin off the back end of the law, 1% to 1.5% of the total mortgage cost, which is really, really nice. Again, we have to make money in order to stay in business, but I really feel that, especially as a young new buyer, maybe even someone that's purchased many homes like myself, you don't really understand all the different fees that are associated with, throughout the purchasing process. Underwriting fees, origination fees to pull credit reports. There's a lot of those, and they really, really add up, depending on who you're working with. There are some fees that you have to pay, but there's a lot of other fees that are baked into the products to create, revenue and profit for the company. So that's one of their core values: education. And I'm a big believer in that. I had a daughter, I was telling Kenyatta on Tuesday, I was in my 30s before I purchased my first home. My daughter, and I'm not bragging, she's a lot smarter than I am. She purchased her first home when she was 23. And in this market, last October is when she purchased it. That market was a lot different than when I purchased this home I'm sitting in right now 8 years ago. And it was a very, it creates a lot of anxiety with someone that's 23 years old that just doesn't understand the process. And so education is really, really important, just to educate your client, your customer throughout the process, so that they fully understand what to expect. And it just makes the client experience a lot better. Teamwork. When I went through Officer Candidate School, we had an acronym for team effort achieves mission. And I kind of adopted, I actually was one of the people in our class that came up with that as we brainstormed to create an acronym, and a saying for our OCS class. But it really is true. There's a lot of working parts to every business, and everyone has a job to do, and there's respect that comes along with that. And teamwork's very, very important in all aspects of life. Expectations. I used to use the term undercommit and overachieve. Maybe that's not the right term to use, but set the expectations and then exceed those expectations. Discipline, maintain excellence with consistency. These are just core innovation. In the health and wellness industry, there's always room for that. That's a cliche term. There's always room for a better product or a more efficient product that's out there. And then trust, serve through integrity and honesty in all that you do. And so when I saw these core values, Kenyatta, I knew it was a place that I wanted to work. And I'll tell you what, the corporate culture around the office is incredible. They live and breathe by those core values every single day. How can we sharpen our pencil and make it a better experience for the client? So that's a little bit about AZ Home Loans. We are going multi-state. I told Kenyatta we're branching out into the Southwest. We're gonna by the end of the year, we'll be in Colorado, New Mexico, Utah, California, Texas, and we're already here in Arizona. So we're starting to branch out, and we want to take this great product and service to other states that are close to the nest, and then eventually they probably are looking at going nationwide. So I understand EXP and how that business model works, and I just think it provides an awesome opportunity for both parties respectively to grow and develop and build a relationship and be able to provide an awesome, experience and service for other people. We do have an in-house credit specialist that's for free. If someone comes to us with a subpar credit score, we don't kick them to the curb and say, hey, come back when your credit's 620 or 640 or 680 or whatever we need to get it to get you this rate. We work with those clients. We educate them. we take them through simulations and put them on a path to purchase. And I really, really love that. I really love that. And I see that on a daily basis where I work. And I'm an emotional guy. I was raised with 3 girls and I was the only guy. And so I've got that little emotional side to me. So, but it just shows you how sincere, you know, when I see those things at work every day, we put the customer first. I get goosebumps. It's a great place to work. It's a fun place to work. And I want to retire with this company. I really do. I'm always here for questions. I don't want to take up all the time this evening, Kenyatta. If there's anything that I haven't touched on, please let me know. But I felt that it was really important that I get these core values out in front of everybody, because when I saw those, I've lived my life by those very core values, maybe not in that order, but very, very close. And so I knew that I was in the right place. And I feel that, Kenyatta, with you and your team already. If you're on this planet and you're working and you're not working towards serving other people, whatever, and your creator, whoever that is, then you probably ought to take inventory of your place and position here in within the human race, humanity, and maybe change course, do a course change, because we're all on this rock together, and what better thing to do than to be in the service of other people.
Right on. Well, that's powerful. And that kind of segues into what we're going to share about TGRI. And Tori, I do have the slides all set and ready to roll. So we'll share with you who we are, what we're doing. Paul, I gave you a brief rundown. We do have one of our core team members not on this call right now. Luckily, it's because she just closed on her new house. Yay, Cinnamon.
Nice.
Cinnamon is our other valued asset that handles our psychological side of TGRI. She looks at every little nook and cranny of our business and our core development and our code of ethics as well, and is always looking for room for improvement for us, or how do we help our agents to grow in a better manner. And as you guys could hear from Paul's sharing with us, his core values ties right into our core values very well. And the mission of us growing our business together, it really is a lockstep action. So I was so excited in this conference with him, this meeting, that I already knew where we were headed. And I've already got a deal in the works with him. So things are getting ready to get going really good. So Tori, I'm gonna turn it over to you. I'll start the screen share here.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Kenyatta, and thank you, Paul. And what an amazing singing. I mean, this call started off with everything. What a great start. I mean, it's pretty crazy. So it's nice to meet everybody whose face I haven't seen yet. I'm looking forward to meeting you all in person. Hopefully, Paul, coming up in the coming months. I know Kenyatta had talked about some events being placed at some of your facilities, and I'm really looking forward to meeting you more. So with the short amount of time, and we want to be respectful of everyone's time, as we have people on the East Coast as well, who I'm sure want to get back to their families and relax before they go to bed. I'm quickly going to talk about what we're going to be talking about today. So if you can go ahead and go to the agenda, Kenyatta. So this is going to be a quick little presentation. We're going to go through each of these different sections, but first we really want to talk about what do we represent as TGRI. So as you can see, our logo is a shield with 2 keys crossed together. Kenyatta and Roberta are going to go ahead and talk about what we represent. This is going to tie in a lot to what Paul was recently talking about as we just discussed. And then we're going to talk about a little bit about TGRI and how we plan on achieving our goal of serving 100 families and 100 agents. Then I'm going to give a quick little market update. Dawn's going to talk about our upcoming Lunch and Learn, which is going to be our first live event happening in mid-July. And then our awesome TC Kimber is going to give us a quick little thoughts and considerations around post-possession. So Paul, this one might also ring some bells for you as well. So let's go ahead and kick this thing off.
So we're going to turn it over to Roberta on this one.
Okay. All right. Okay. So TGRI, our goal is to help 100 families and 100 agents achieve successful real estate and business outcomes. And this is very important, but it's specific to each unique individual and situation. I really love what Paul had to say. I just have to throw it in there. You can't be a cookie cutter situation when it comes to real estate or dealing with somebody's finances, or because not everybody fits the same mold. You have to be flexible and you have to be considerate to each person's unique issues and where they're at. So, and then we decided, how will we do it? Well, we are using a trusted source. We are a trusted source that people can come to with any of their needs for real estate investing or home purchases and selling. We are listing specialists, of course, and we will be holding community events. This is a big thing on our calendar that we will have coming up in the future. We want to give back to the community, of course. We offer world-class training. Our big thing is to pay it forward to other agents. This is not a mystery. Real estate should not be some hidden secret that only a few select people know. We want to give some training out to other agents and people because we want everybody to be able to provide excellent quality real estate. And we are agent focused. Everybody in our team gets, like I said, top quality training. They get support. They get whatever they need to be successful. And once again, agents as well, it's not a cookie cutter situation. Everybody needs something a little different, and we're always sensitive to that.
And I'm going to go back to this slide here.
Oh, the shield, yes.
Yes, and I can't explain the shield as well as Cinnamon, but I'm going to take a stab at it, if that's okay. We have the shield here, which represents in the past history. We're all history buffs here, but the shield represents protection. It protects and guards people. It's all in the Bible as well. And then you see the three keys there, because our biggest thing, to go back here in the protection mode, our biggest thing is, and our motto and mission, part of our mission statement is integrity matters. We want to have and do everything with integrity. And so we want to protect our agents and our clients in everything that we do. So that's a key and very important to us. The keys, you'll notice there's three keys here amongst the TGR, and the third key is the I. Well, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. We're a Christian organization. So Father, Son, and Holy Spirit is there. But the keys, if you notice, they're crossed, which is also another sign of protection, or iron sharpening iron. So we want to always sharpen each other's tools and mindsets and help each other grow. And the keys open new doors, right? So that's where the third key comes in. We're always trying to open your mind up and open new doorways for you to bless you and your future business with TGRI and eXp Realty. So I did the best I could do with the explanation, but Cinnamon does it much better than I.
Also because it's a family shield, because shields represent family. So
yes,
I thought a shield was awesome.
And we are one big happy family.
There's a lot that this slide says, but really this all comes down to, so when you have a big goal, it also takes a big plan, right? So what we've done over the last several months when we've been designing the business model behind TGRI is we've really been focusing on three specific areas that kind of feed into one another, especially in the business of real estate, in the sense that first, there's a lot of information. There's a lot of people saying a lot of different things out there. And sometimes it's really difficult to filter out what's the best in class, what is the real information that I need to know in order to be effective. So one of our first missions is to centralize all of that data and information, the best of the best, and put it all into a streamlined, centered location so that our agents have all the tools and techniques that they need in order to be successful in the industry. So when we're talking about centralization, we're talking about processes, so transaction processes. This is a benefit for all people involved, because when you have a process, it's repeatable, and when things are repeatable, they have repeatable results. So we always try to streamline and create processes for everything that we do so that our agents can act in a repeatable manner in which we're providing the highest level of service to not only our clients, but also our partners, and everyone that's involved with the transaction, because we know that it's not just the agent that makes a transaction successful, it's all the team that's involved. So once we've centralized all of this information and all of these different techniques and tactics into one place, we really focus on our agent development. So we want to upskill our agents in a way that is going to help them best meet their specific needs. So we have a really great mentorship and training program in which we partner with all of our agents, and we help them bring along and achieve different milestone goals related to their personal development. We allow them to go and get cross-trained. So one of the great benefits and an awesome additional revenue stream for agents, especially part-time agents, is to become a TC, or a transaction coordinator. And that's something that's great about our team is we have our resident transaction coordinator expert, Kimber Howard, who you're going to hear about later. She's got a dynamic program that helps to cross-train agents so that they can also become TCs, so that they have access to a whole additional area of revenue streams. And once we've focused on developing that agent, and that agent is being productive, next we really focus on helping that agent change that mindset from just a salesperson to more of a business professional, because real estate is a business, and businesses build on relationships, and also they build on the successes of other people. So we really work on, as many of you know, Kenyatta has previously owned many successful other businesses in which really success in business can be translated to any type of business. So we've really taken a lot of these successful practices that are successful in other industries, and we've started to tailor them and make them specific to the real estate market specifically. Here across the bottom, we have some different examples of some tools that we built. So we built seller and buyer presentations that are already branded and ready to go for agents so that they can hit the ground running with their clients right away, and they have some dynamic and really engaging material that's going to help drive the conversation. But not only that, but also drive action with the client, because we want to provide the client with enough information that they can make a decision. So that's really what we're all about here. Well, in the essence of time, let's just hurry up and click through the next slide. Reach out to myself or anyone on the team if you want to hear more about our model, because I could talk about it all day.
You can.
So I'm going to quickly give you guys a quick market update. So this market update is Arizona focused, but we do plan on expanding it to be nationwide. But a lot of these trends are they're not only specific to Arizona, but we're seeing these in the nation worldwide. I'm not sure about Atlanta, Georgia, but here in Arizona, we have a very hot sellers market in which inventory is very low. And we're going to talk about a couple specific stats as well as some news points that are going to help let you guys know generally how the market's going, so you can translate that to your customers. Can you go ahead and click the next slide? So here is a quick market snapshot for the month of May. I know we're close to the end of June, but I wanted to quickly talk about May because June is shaping up to be very, very similar. So the biggest point and the biggest thing that a lot of people like to focus on is the average sale price. So in Arizona, the average sale price has increased to $509,000 approximately for a single family residence. This is representative of the Phoenix metro area, which incorporates many different cities. We're talking all the way out to Maricopa, Gold Canyon. There's Casa Grande. So this involves many different cities that are coming up with this number. So it can be skewed by a lot of different outliers, both on the low end, but also on the high end, because luxury real estate is booming like crazy. But here on the right, you see that month over month, the average sale price has increased by 2%, but year over year, it's increased by 44%. So this number here is a little bit, you want to be cautious about this 44%, just because we remember around May and April and May and June of last year, that was right when COVID started. So a lot of people were still very scared to enter the market. So don't be so worried about this 44% year over year increase. But then when you look at a general market, you want to kind of look at the different drivers, right? So in general, you have two main drivers, supply and demand. Each of these play off of one another. And here in Arizona, due to our lovely 115-degree weather and all the other nice things, our demand is crazy. We do not have enough inventory to service our demand, regardless of already built homes as well as new homes. This is something that we're seeing nationwide as just a housing shortage in general, and that's reflected by our supply of inventory here, which is about 0.45. So just as an idea, guys, the medium point between a seller's market and a buyer's market is typically around 3 months of inventory. So here you can see that's about 0.45 months of inventory, which is extremely, I mean, it's extremely low, which is driving up a lot of these different prices, such as this list to sale ratio and listing success rate. The listing success rate, what this really means is that if you list your house, you have a 98% chance that you're going to sell it. So this is a huge selling point when you're talking to different people about listing their homes. It's good to have these kind of metrics in your back pocket. And our team's really working on developing an effective way to communicate these types of things to our agents so that we can start to communicate them to our clients. There we go. So what I just showed you before was the Phoenix Metro as a whole. So as you can see here on the left are some of the top major cities that are encompassed within this Phoenix Metro area. So I know that we're all spread out, TGRI is spread out throughout the entire Phoenix Metro area. So we all serve many different clients in many different areas. So this is a quick snapshot, just as we were kind of building this out really quickly. We're going to have some really awesome visuals for you guys in the future, but here's some examples of some month over month changes in median sold price, as well as year over year price. So here at TGRI, we like to look at the median sold price over the average sold price, just because, kind of like what I had been telling you before, there's a lot of outliers both on the low end and the high end in regards to sales. Like, for example, if you look on the left table here, Paradise Valley, which is where many of the mega mansions are here in the Phoenix metro area, the average sale price or the median sold price in May 2021 was 2.3 million. So that was so that's kind of going to skew your average. So we like to break it out by median, but here you can see some areas that are increasing more quickly month over month, while others are starting to decrease. So take a look at these different cities, and if anything jumps out, take a note and speak to me after, and I can help you get a little bit more detail on your market. And then lastly, on the right, another huge demand driver that just shows the amount of demand that's here in the Phoenix metro area is the average days on market. So this is from the time that your listing becomes active to the time that it is closed. So this includes the whole transaction process. So as you can see, we have a lot of heavy investors presence here in the Phoenix metro area. And this is indicated by the low 14, 15 to 20-day closings that are happening in these cities. And what you're seeing is a lot of these cities, El Mirage, Anthem, Tulsa, Gilbert, some of these other ones, as you go farther down, Buckeye, a lot of these are kind of on these developing outskirt areas where a lot of these, where the city is growing and where the houses are relatively at a lower price, in which investors are really snatching those up and turning them into rental properties. So that's just a quick little intro into the days on market. So let's go to the next slide. And quickly, I'll just talk about some supply metrics here. Again, just talking about the seller's market. One thing we look at is the total months of inventory. So this is the number of active properties divided by the number of sold properties in a given area. And that's going to give you your total months of inventory. And as you can see, none of the cities are above or wait, we got one right here, Paradise Valley. Well, that's typical because those types of listings, luxury listings, tend to stay on the market specifically because your price point is so high. And when the price point's that high, your number of buyers tend to decrease. So that might be the major outlier in terms of total months of inventory. But again, this is just another indicator that the market is still hot and it seems to be increasing. A good metric to look out for agents, especially if you're looking for listings, is starting to look at the areas where we're starting to get the most new listings. So new listings is an indicator that maybe the market's starting to break up a little bit over here. Maybe some people are feeling a little bit more secure. Unemployment's increasing. We got some other mortgage moratoriums starting to expire. So there's going to start to be a little bit more flexibility, and we're going to start to see more of these listings starting to come on the market. But as I kind of go down the list, some specific ones that pop out to me are Apache Junction, which was -20, Santan Valley, Queen Creek, which had a 2% increase in the number of listings. And if you remember from the slide before, if you could go back real quick, Queen Creek had the highest median sold price increase month over month from April to May. So that might be an indicator of people seeing this hot market here. And they're like, wow, you mean the median sold price in my area is 525,000? Maybe I should put my house up for sale too. So we expect these kind of trends to increase as we go, especially as it starts to cool down and unemployment continues to decrease. We're going to start to see a lot more of these listings hopefully starting to hit the market. So if you can go ahead and click next one more time. I just wanted to quickly give you guys some big news. One is big news that's for nationwide. The other one is more affected to those people that are here in Arizona. So the first one is in regards to the eviction moratoriums. So this is in regards to people that are behind on their mortgage, in which they haven't paid, sometimes for people over a year. Well, over the last year or so, and I'm sure Paul could get into a lot more detail than me, and I'm sure maybe we have an upcoming call, Paul, to kind of go into this in detail. But basically, a lot of these debts and things are becoming due. And what the government's been doing is postponing these in order to help people as vaccines roll out, unemployment increases. So this is the government trying to balance many of these macroeconomic indicators. But Biden just signed something that said that it's going to end in July. So what does that mean for people? Paul, I'm sure you could say, but really it just means that a lot of people are going to be in some tight spots. They're going to need some help. Paul, looks like you wanted to say something.
No, I agree. Yeah, this the forbearance, the moratorium is looks like he did extend it. I believe that was supposed to end this month. Looks like he's pushed that out another month. So that will certainly change the landscape here in Arizona, but throughout the nation as well. I don't have the exact numbers with me, but at one point it was close to 3 million homes nationwide. I don't think it's quite that high right now, but it's certainly going to affect, a lot of families are going to be hurt by that and continue to be hurt by it. But it's going to produce some inventory as well.
Yes.
Absolutely. And that's why we're trying to train ourselves up as quickly as we can. And we hope to partner and work with you, Paul, in order to figure out what's the best way to help these people and to kind of get the word out that, hey, there is a solution here. There's a way to get out of, if you're in a tight spot here at TGRI, here in our partners, we're here to help you. So that also leads into the next announcement I just wanted to bring everybody in Arizona aware of is earlier this month, the Arizona State Senate passed the law HB 2617, which basically talks about homeowners' homestead exemption. So previous to this bill being passed, the homestead exemption was about $150,000, in which creditors and debitors could not touch this money whenever you were selling a home or refinancing your home. Well, after this bill was passed, which is going to be effective in 2022, basically what is happening is they've increased the amount of homestead exemption from 150,000 to 250,000. But the difference is now those debts are going to be eligible for debtors to put liens on your property for those loans. So I'm not an expert in this at all. But I just wanted to kind of pass this word along, just because this might be another driver that is going to start to increase the number of inventory that's going to be on the market as well. So I'm sure Kimber and Gladys, who's also on the call, I'm sure that they can also get into more detail on this, but I just wanted to bring this up to everybody's attention. So with further ado, let's pass it to the next person. I think Dawn's got an update on our upcoming Lunch and Learn.
Yep, take it away, Dawn.
Thank you, Teray. Hello, I'm Dawn. I am the Director of Communications. So I'm the one that communicates basically anything and everything via email, text, obviously outside of what our CRM will send out automatically and whatnot. So you will receive emails from me more and more moving forward. If you can go to the next slide, Ken. I also will be in charge of all of our events, the planning of them, the communication of them, et cetera, et cetera. So with that being said, we have obviously our virtual events, which are right now our weekly calls, our Thursday calls. In-person events, our first one is going to be the Lunch and Learn. I'm really excited to do an in-person event. I've been in the industry of events and hospitality for 23 years, and I have felt like a hermit the last year, over a year now, year and a few months. Now that we can have in-person events, I'm really excited about this. We're doing our first Lunch and Learn event at Fairway, which is one of our lending partners out on the west side. It's going to be Tuesday, July 13th. So the week after the 4th of July. So about 2.5 weeks from now. I'll be sending out more information via email and text as we get closer. We'll have a registration set up for it that you'll receive via email, possibly, via email most likely, and I can send it out via text as well, that you can register for. We want you to come, show up. We're going to really deep dive into EXP, the model of EXP, and we'll talk a little bit about our team as well, but we're really going to do a deep dive into EXP. And Fairway will be there as well. So if you have any lending questions, they're not really going to be presenting at this Lunch and Learn, but they will be on site if you have any questions. With that being said, we can move to the next slide.
And I just wanted to add, anybody, if you have any agents or anybody who's thinking about joining, anyone who's interested in real estate at all, feel free to invite them to the call. We'd love to meet them and talk to them about EXP. So thank you.
Thanks, Trey, and to the Lunch and Learn as well.
Yes.
Yep.
Especially
Both.
Lunch and Learn. And I figured out, me and Torrey figured out why the call is light today. The Suns game is on right now.
Oh.
Go figure. Okay.
Yep.
Kimber, take it away.
I'm Kimber Howard, and I'm the Chief Administrative Officer, and I work on a lot of the administrative stuff. I have a legal background, so I work in regards to the actual entity, and I also manage the TCs, and develop the training for TCs. So what we're going to talk about tonight, and this is kind of what my role is, I'm going to help just kind of plant seeds into agents' minds when they're out there in the field, when they come across different scenarios and different situations, what to start thinking about and who they're going to have to talk to once these things start to come across their path, and how they can consult their client in regards to situations such as host possessions. Host possessions are on the rise. They are very popular right now. But I will say that a lot of brokers really do not like host possessions. There's a lot of things that can actually go wrong with this tool that sometimes have to be used, and sometimes if it's an option, it's always best to kind of steer your client to probably not do it. But we're going to talk about it anyway, just so you kind of understand a little bit more. But basically what it is that once a buyer buys a home, and the seller may have another house that they're moving into and it's not quite ready. They may need 5-10 days. Sometimes they may need longer. I mean, now we're seeing commercials where they're talking about, some brokers are offering post possession as part of selling a home and getting listings, and really trying to master how to maneuver that so sellers can still sell their home but still live in it for another 9 to 6 months. Or 6 to 9 months. So, but with this, I'm just going to kind of talk about how we approach it at eXp, This can also be done with other agencies. And my job is to actually help train them as well, so that we're all kind of in the know. And when we come across each other, we can kind of, negotiate on good terms because we both understand what's going on. But basically, the EXP post-possession agreement is something that's used 29 days or less. And then you can kind of look at it as like when you have those HomeAways or Airbnbs, they're kind of fall into the same, legal aspects because of the simple fact that it's a short term and it's less than over 30 days. And it falling into a different type of legal aspect, being a renter or a tenant or a landlord, I'm sorry. And we have a form that basically speaks to post-possession can go two ways. It could be actually you physically staying within the home, or you can be physically gone, the previous sellers, the previous owners, but your things could be stored in certain areas of the house. So post-possession can work a couple ways because maybe your mover isn't going to get there until maybe 2 days after you close, things of that nature. So there's a lot of nuances in post-possession. And so when you come across these things, these are things to kind of understand. And as far as going into days over 29 days, that's when you should really fall into using your state lease agreement or your association, like in Atlanta, it would be, in Georgia rather, it would be a different,
It would be available in your MLS.
association, but here in Arizona, we would use our state lease agreement for renters. And then that'll give them more protection. That'll give the buyer more protections so that they can understand that, now we're in this type of situation, and then there are some now legalities that fall or come into play, okay? The funny thing about post-possessions is that you can actually, if a seller wants to use a post-possession, you should put it in your purchase contract, okay? It should be mentioned as a clause in your purchase contract, which is a sample clause at the bottom of this slide. And it basically speaks to if certain elements are met at certain times during the transaction, then the approval of the post-possession can take place. A lot of time that's actually the transference of money, making sure that the walkthrough is in order, understanding what type of post-possession you're going to have. Will it be you and your entire family? Who's going to be in the house? Will some people not be there? Like it may be one individual there and the rest of the family may move on if it's in another state. Different scenarios. All of these things should be farmed out during the course of the purchase agreement. But when you go into the post-possession, it begins the day after the close of escrow. It is not part of your purchase agreement. So you do not have those same protections that you would at that point. The only thing that survives or extends past the close of escrow is your final walkthrough and how the condition of the home is at that time. The house has to be in the same condition that the buyer approved at the time that they left, okay? And at that point, if there are issues, then it kind of goes into another bucket. That's when, you may have to have your attorneys or you're gonna have to start asking for them to repair things, and that can get kind of nasty. Also, the thing about post-possessions, anything over 60 days can actually throw the buyer out of their loan qualifications if it's over 60 days. It's typically 60 days, which I researched and actually talked to our brokers about. And it's typically FHA, VA, some VAs, and some conventional loans. Particularly the ones with the down payment assistance, they want that to be your primary residence. So you just gotta be careful when you have a buyer that's excited and they're really trying in this market to get a home and they come across this post-possession, but it's like the buyers want to be in it for 90 days. It's really not an option. And it shouldn't even be something that they should look at, okay? You should always recommend to your client, be it the buyer or the seller, what the conditions are that they really need to talk to an attorney. We are realtors. We are not attorneys. We can't really tell them everything that's going to happen. if something goes down on a negative side with the post-possession. So it's really good that they get in front of attorney and just have a free consultation in regards to that, so that they can just kind of cover all their bases. Okay, and then the final thing is that we really recommend, like I said earlier, that you always, always, always use this clause in there, because everything, one reaction has a reaction, and you want to make sure that all things fall into play when you're dealing with post-possessions. They can go really well. We've seen some that really go really well, and sometimes they they don't go well at all. So if anybody has any questions in regards to post-possessions, they can definitely reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to really dive deeper into the subject, but I just kind of wanted to put these little nuances out there so that, you know, you'll have them in the top of mind when you come across.
Okay, thank you. Great job, Kimber. We're hitting the 7 o'clock hour, and I always like to be respectful of your time. However, if you want, we can continue and go a little bit longer because we got to know each other here. But does anyone have any questions at this time?
I actually have a question, because I think this came up with Dawn and I's recent transaction, and except we were the buyer in which we had signed, and we used this clause that Kimber had used in order to basically we got our offer accepted. But when we actually broke down the actual terms based on the rental rate in the area, as well as a security deposit and some of these other elements that we were recommended, this really dissuaded the seller, and they ended up just swiping it away. But I try to think of it from the other perspective, in the sense that we're listing specialists, and in the sense of, if we have a client or a potential lead who comes to us and talks about wanting to potentially do a post-possession, a lot of this information that Kimber provided is really, really important. And I just wanted to kind of bring that up specifically because a lot of people aren't aware of, like, for example, if it's in Gilbert, okay, what's the average rental rate for a house in Gilbert? And then what's the security deposit? And then what's the cleaning fee if they're going to end up doing that? So I think a lot of those different elements are very important to bring that visibility of those potential costs to a listing appointment, just because that might dissuade or change the way that the seller might want to approach their listing. So I just wanted to bring that up.
I would totally agree.
Because I had no idea. I was like, oh, it'll just be easy. We'll just say $500 for whatever, for a couple of days. But then when we actually started to get into it, that number started to go up a lot, you know.
Yeah.
So if
Has
I was
anybody,
a listing agent, I would have wanted to let my client know that, okay, you want to do a post-possession for 3 days. Well, this is what that generally would, you got to look out for, you know.
right. If anybody's done an Airbnb, if you've ever looked at their contracts, it's really along the same lines. I mean, everything is premiumed because you're really trying to cover for what the unknowns. So, and I think with the way the EXP post-possession agreement is outlined or laid out, it's really set up for that, so that you can, so if there is a situation, they nick a wall or they tear out drywall and you've got to get it repaired, there's a non-refundable that could be placed in there as well. And, you know, you can have them extend their insurance on the property or get some type of short-term insurance that they're going to have to get, which is usually pretty expensive if it's only for a short, you know, like a few days. So it can get pricey, and a lot of people are deterred from it, and we should try to deter them from it.
Yeah.
That's my legal mind saying that.
I try to steer people away from it as much as possible. Matter of fact, Friday, next week, I'm sorry, the 29th, I'm going to do a final walkthrough on a post-possession that we had with one of my clients. So any of the team that wants to join me, I'll let you know what time, because, you know, we're here to help build this team and build you strong. And we want to make sure that we're giving you the meat and potatoes needed to be successful in real estate. And I hope that you can see by this call tonight that we're offering those things. Because there's a lot of teams that don't give you anything, and we don't want to be that team. We want to be the ones that give you everything you need and build you up the right way. There's a link here to get Roberta and I's book on sellers. It's a seller's book, but it's basically a real estate book. And you can get it on an e-copy, so you can download it for free. And we wrote it to help make people more knowledgeable about selling their home, as well as give our team members the opportunity to show that they are backed by more than just a realtor. No, we're brokers, we're authors, and we know the business, and our team knows the business. We can really support each and every individual. I think by you being on this call with us, you can see that Torre does a very good job of conveying the information on the statistics, and the market. We know the market's better than 95% of the agents out there. And we'll teach that to you as well. And we have other tools. We have all types of training literature built up and to help teach, coach, and train you.